The first Xbox Developer Direct of 2026 just took place. I just finished watching it and taking notes, and boy, oh boy, do I have a lot to say about the 4 games that we were shown during this. First time on the channel, hit that subscribe button. Let's just hop straight into it. We're kicking things off with Forza Horizon 6, and boy, oh boy. Boy, oh boy. I've really been looking forward to this. I'm not like a super JDM guy. I don't have some weird fetish with Japan and Japanese culture. However, I do think it makes for very fun racing areas. And with Forza Horizon being, you know, this open world racing game, like I had a laundry list of things that I wanted in this game. And the fact that every single thing that was on my list that I wanted was shown in this trailer, or this presentation, I should say, because the developers are talking to you during this as well. It just made me so happy. You know, it made me so happy. One of the big changes to Forza Horizon 6 is the wristband system, which is kind of going back to earlier Forza Horizon games, where you start out in the world and you're just some tourist. And you have to race and you have to do things to get noticed so that your wristband can upgrade, thus allowing you access to different sorts of areas. Now, they did show off this like obstacle course thing, which I don't know. I'm not super interested in that, but you know, it's cool. You know, I guess it kind of breaks things up a little bit. But the main thing, of course, is like, okay, Japanese racing culture is known for a couple of different things. And like, obviously, the culture today isn't the same as it was, you know, during the 90s and the early 2000s and stuff like that. So what were they going to draw from? And they drew from exactly what they needed to do. This looks so damn good. So environmentally speaking, yes, you have like the scenic landscapes and the zen-like areas and stuff like that. But you also have the largest urban area yet. There's the Tokyo Highway system. It's not exactly the highway, but it's based on the Tokyo Highway system. There are lots of cityscapes you can go to as well. There's toge racing, which is when, you know, you get your initial D on and you're winding up the hills and winding down the hills. It was absolutely fantastic to see all of this. Like, it literally made me so happy, because that was one of the things that I really wanted from this game, was kind of like that, you know, essentially the Fast and the Furious, you know, style sort of thing. You know, the thing about Forza Horizon games is they do a good job of doing like a blanket of car culture, but obviously a lot of it is rooted in like things like racing and community and stuff like that. They showed off a bunch of 90s JDM classic cars in the trailer, of course, with modern cars as well. They said that this is going to be the largest day one amount of cars ever available in a Forza Horizon game, which is pretty freaking sweet to me. There are new parts to vehicles that you can customize. There's overhauled cars. There's aftermarket cars that you can find in the open world. They've redone the car audio and stuff, and I mean, I think it sounded pretty damn good. There are customizable garages when you can purchase a garage to house your cars in and, you know, set it up so you can design it and people can like come and visit your garage and stuff like that, which I think is pretty cool. You can also make an estate. I didn't really understand that portion of it. Like, I don't understand the estate building thing. It just looked like we were just putting up buildings in like a Japanese field, which, I mean, what's that doing for the ecosystem there? But one of the things I said was I hope that they can introduce something for the multiplayer aspect, like a car meet, because car meets are a huge part of car culture, and son of a bitch, car meets are in the game. You can go to a car meets and people will have their cars and their custom liveries and what modifications they've done to it, and you can check it out and you can purchase things from there, you know, builds based on that, or just hang out and check out the cars. Like, holy shit, man. They nailed this. They absolutely nailed this. There's an open world builder, which you can collaborate with people on multiplayer to customize the world to your liking. At the end of the trailer, there was like a giant Gundam for some reason. I'm not quite sure what was up with the Gundam thing, but you know, maybe I was hoping, because like you heard like the footsteps and I was like, oh shit, it's Godzilla. But then it was a Gundam and I was like, well, I guess there's still time for Godzilla. But this definitely looks awesome. It looks awesome. All of the improvements that they have done to Forza Horizon sound awesome. I think they're really taking like the next step with this franchise. You know, Forza Horizon 5 was great. I thought the environments were kind of boring and stuff like that, and it kind of needed a little bit of a change. And I think just the urban landscapes and stuff like dude, the amount of stuff that you're going to be able to do in this game, like do some hood rat stuff on the highway system and then hit up the mountains to do some toge and stuff like that. Like, it's going to be so much fun. Like, I cannot wait for this. It comes out on May 19th. Don't tell Kane from the WWE about that. For the Xbox and PC, and a PS5 version will be out later this year. So at this point in time, like, I am super satisfied with this show. You know, if Fable can look semi-decent, we might have a winner on our hands here. And then we got Beast of Reincarnation from Game Freak, and well, I'm honestly not very interested in this game. Like, I feel like there are just so many games with this aesthetic right now, and like the vibe, and like, oh look, everyone has a life bar, and you got a parry, and there's a skill tree, and so like, it's fine. I know there are a lot of people, evidently, that love these styles of games, but I just don't. Like, it does nothing for me. I will say the interesting things that I took away from this was that obviously Game Freak can make a game that looks like, you know, it belongs in the modern era, and they constantly mentioned Pokemon during this. They were like, yeah, we worked on Pokemon. We learned a lot from working on Pokemon. And I almost feel like this was like Game Freak's way of being like, hey, you know, we could do something that looks pretty good. Like, I'm sure it'll be a fine game for people that are fans of this style of game. But for me personally, this was kind of a snooze. But I mean, it is on Game Pass, so maybe I'll check it out. You have a little wolf companion, and you can level him up too. I don't know. It comes out in summer of 2026. And then the mystery game was up next, and wow. I really don't know what to say, because they actually spent a lot of time on this game. It was a game from Double Fine, which I'm not the biggest Tim Schafer fan in the world or anything like that, but okay, you know, we'll give it a chance. It's a game called Kiln, an online multiplayer pottery party brawler. You make pots and you battle them, and there's like different game modes, and like I was not happy in the group chat with this game. This took down the entire presentation for me, and I think it's because it just went on for so freaking long. Like, the online multiplayer sphere, when it comes to like brawler games or stuff like that, is very niche right now. Like, Smash does a very good job of it, but then like everything else just fails, and it's like, why? I don't get this. This was a no from me. I think it comes out in spring of 2026. So if you're interested in Kiln, go watch another channel, because it's not going to be this one. And then finally, Fable time. A game that's been marred in controversy. A game that a lot of people have been concerned about. I tried to keep a somewhat open mind with the game, though. I tried to keep, you know, my expectations in check, and my hopes, and, you know, this, that, and the other. And I will say, I was pleasantly surprised with what we saw from Fable. Now, you start off as a kid, your home village is turned to stone, all the people in the village are turned to stone, and you have to be a hero. It's obviously a very British game. I'm sure there'll be tea and crumpets, some beans and toast. It's really, I don't know why they didn't hire MVG for this, since he is the king of Britain. It's a truly seamless open world, meaning that you can go anywhere at any point in time, whenever you want to. Whether you should or shouldn't, that's up to you. And surprise, surprise, the ugly chick that everyone was worried about, guess what? You customize your character. I don't know why this was such a controversial thing. Like, the whole time I thought, well, there's probably character customization. It's a game based on a character that you create, and the character customization in this does look pretty interesting. But yes, everyone calm down. You don't have to play as the ugly chick. You can make your own character. They showed off the combat, which has a bunch of different parts to it. There, of course, is melee combat, which is kind of like the focal point of the combat, I would say. You have different attacks, weak attacks, strong attacks, a combo system. You also have your magical abilities. There are ranged weapons to use as well. And I will say the audio design, whenever they showed like gameplay, the audio design was actually very nice. I was listening on headphones. But of course, Fable is not just about, you know, fighting enemies and stuff like that. It's about getting laid, pal. Spreading your seed. You can do a bunch of stuff within the game that has nothing to do with the game. You can buy houses, you can buy businesses, you can kick people out of the houses that you buy, you can get a job, you can get married, you can have kids, you can marry other people, have other kids. It looks very insane and detailed. They say the NPCs are the living population, and there's over 1,000 characters in the game, and every one of them is unique, has like their own life, and you can actually follow them around and like watch them get up, go to work, go do something for leisure, head home, be with the family. I think that's pretty cool. You know, it seems kind of ambitious, and I'm not quite sure how well it'll work, but there's a ton of stuff you do that isn't being a hero. And of course, the world sort of interacts with that. People will look at you differently. There's the morality system, which they're focusing more so on like gray area stuff. If you remember in like the first Fable game, it was like good and evil. And then you got the devil horns if you were someone evil. But now it's a much more subjective thing because people look at things, you know, people have different moralities within the thing. The main thing I took away from this was like, this kind of to me feels like what Fable 1 was supposed to be. You know, with Peter Molyneux over-promising on everything with that game. But this definitely feels like fleshed out and like, this is what Fable was intended to be from the jump. Fable will be coming out in autumn. I don't know why they didn't say fall, but autumn of 2026. And it seems like it's PS5 day in date as well, which I mean does make sense. It's Xbox. And that did wrap up the show. So overall, there were 2 hits and 2 misses for me. And you know what? If I could watch a presentation and like 50% of the games, I'm okay with that. Forza Horizon 6 looks like a Game of the Year contender, even though Jeff Keighley will never give it credit for being a Game of the Year because it's an evolution of the franchise, and I think it looks awesome. Fable seems awesome too. You know, I do have some hopes for that game, and I think it's actually going to meet them. Beast of Reincarnation is its own thing, and Kiln, well, I hoped you saved up some money, Double Fine. I hope the cost of Kiln didn't cost you all that much to make. But let me know in the comment section down below, what did you think about this presentation? What did you think about the games that were offered? What'd you like? What you didn't like? And as always, guys, thank you for checking out this video. If you are new to the channel, be sure to hit that subscribe button. Be sure to like, comment, and share. I am the king of Xbox YouTube. And as always, I'll catch you guys on the next video. Later.